Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome back to our series, The Havamal. Today we are looking at verse 123, and as per usual, we have our three different translations. The first is from Olive Bray, and it reads, "There is mingling in friendship when a man can utter his whole mind to another. There is not so vile as a fickle tongue. No friend is he who but flatters." Now, VikingNerd.org has a translation that puts it this way. There's a mingling of affection where one can tell another all his mind. Everything is better than being with the deceitful. He is not another's friend who ever says as he says. And then finally, Bellows. Affection is mutual when men can be open all their hearts to each other. He whose words are always fair is untrue and not to be trusted. So if you happen to catch today's daily forecast, you'll notice that the Celtic triad for today had a similar theme on it. So we're getting a lot of reinforcement on this issue. And that issue is the nature of true friendship. It is a great blessing to have a friend with whom you can enjoy true candor. And naturally, this has to go both ways. Otherwise, there's the most tremendous problem that will lead to other difficulties. But when it does exist, it creates this unshakable sense of brotherhood. It's a tie that's forged not through lineage, but through the heart. And that can be extremely powerful, and it can last you a lifelong as long as both people are nurturing that connection. But it's important to beware manipulators. It's wise to be wary of people who are in the habit of telling you exactly what you would like to hear. Because even if someone is generally well-meaning and they're saying things that they think other people want them to hear because they don't want to hurt their feelings, it curtails and distorts the truth, and it brings deception into a relationship, which ultimately will manifest into a rift and other kinds of problems. And I would like you to consider this quote from Ken Hubbard. I encountered it years ago, and I've always remembered it. He said that the fellow who agrees with everything you say is either a fool or he is getting ready to skin you. And I have found that to be manifestly true in many human relationships, both in the personal level and on the grander stage of things. Is that people who are always telling others what they want to hear, either they are a complete idiot whose judgment cannot be trusted on any topic, or they have malicious and nefarious intent, and they're building someone up because they are using them, they are manipulating, they're putting them in a certain direction because it suits their interests. And there's nothing honest about that friendship. It is not friendship. It's about just making sure that someone has been maneuvered into a position where you can use them. So be wary of people who would want to use you. And this brings up the question of what do you reward? Because you tend to receive more of the behaviors that you reward. If you punish a behavior, you're not as likely to get it again. If you reward a behavior, it almost ensures that you will see that behavior again. So it's very important to make sure how you respond to these things. Because if you go to pieces when someone disagrees with you or they have an adverse view, you will drive away anyone who could possibly check you when you are in error about someone. And without having someone to check you, you are limited to only your own perspective, and you may not necessarily be able to see the bigger picture of something, or you might have a distorted viewpoint, and that could never possibly be corrected because you threw everyone out of your life who was in a position to do so. And then likewise, if you take for granted people who are kind to you and you fail to reciprocate their goodwill, you'll find that they also flee from your presence because, again, you are using them and you're not reciprocating any kind of true regard. So set the tone. If it is true that your vibe attracts your tribe, like the meme says, then it really does matter how you present yourself. Are you presenting yourself as a beacon for the kind of people you would like to have in your circle, people who you could have true freeness of speech with, or are you giving off entirely the wrong impression? Now, if you find that you are, take heart. You can make adjustments. It isn't a life sentence that this will always be the case. You can make an alteration to where you can start attracting people who would be more beneficial to your life and who you can have a benefit and who you can provide benefit to as well in your turn. So that's what I got out of today's Havamal verse. Let me know what you took from it in the comments below, or send me an email at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com. And if you want to have a more in-depth discussion about it, be happy to hear from you. But that'll do it for today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.